On our resolution, the Senate is not happy that the agreement by the government to Asuu has not been fulfilled. The Senate agreed to convey the government agencies and Asuu, most especially the Ministry of Education and NUC, for a negotiating as soon as possible so that we can resolve this lingering problem. Senate agrees to interface with the Minister of FCT to ensure universities Abuja land which is not taken from them. Also, other needs will be studied and appropriate steps will be taken to ensure amicable resolution, and we want the leadership of Asuu to write all the issues they raise in our discussion so that we can face the Ministry of Education together with them by Tuesday or Wednesday to ensure that our children are back to school, and also to ensure that the government look into the immediate and the long-term measures to be taken to resolve most of the lingering situations in the tertiary institution. This is our resolution, and
their explanation for me is very enlightening, and the issues are not beyond issues that can be resolved. And it's about having an open mind and constructively interrogating each of the elements. For example, Asuu believes that if you give me allowance to buy a book, you don't collect tax from that book. If you collect the tax, then what is left will not be enough for me to buy the book. If the book is 100 naira and you collect tax of 50% from the 100 naira, I now have 75 naira. So how do I buy a book that was estimated to be 100 naira? Again, I believe with good faith, this can be resolved. And the same logic applies to every other specific allowances that is tied to the nature of academic work. Having made your point, as Asuu, we also believe, because after all, they call it a warning strike. For me, 1 day warning is enough. Once the warning has sunk down, you know we have the capacity to withdraw, you have made your point. And therefore, returning back to school, returning back to classes, while these negotiations are going on, I think for me it would be nice, because parents are worried. And the irony, however, is that, let's face it, many of us are able to send our children outside. Also our comrades, and the children who are trapped are children of the poor, the children of lower comrades. And so I think with all of this in mind, they will do some reflection. But the important thing is that to go back to work is not to say that the issue is closed. It is just to give a more conducive environment for further conversation to take place.
Sir, if you help us as Senate to improve funding to universities, you will see what our researchers will produce. We challenge the Committee on Tertiary Education and indeed the entire Senate to try us and see. Just try us and see. Push government to increase funding to universities and see whether there will be strikes in this country. Push government to improve funding in Nigerian universities and see whether our students and our universities, our ranking will not, surpass all these African countries, despite our interest to remain in this country. And here on this table, not that we're trying to make any comparison or anything, we have a professor of nuclear physics. Here, we have a professor of nuclear physics. Sirs, distinguished senators, do we know how much it will cost to produce a research that will be published internationally in a nuclear physics journal? How much? Because he cannot write papers about prevalence, incidents, when his colleagues are writing about, very deep research. And all this require money.